This week's episode is sponsored by Helio Gas Detection and the Rising Suns, the award-winning brewery here in Cork. Hi everybody and welcome to another episode of the Smashing Skull Sessions, and this week I'm absolutely thrilled to finally get hold of Tim Yusupov of OLHAVA, and you may also know him from Trna and from Somn. Tim, thanks for coming on the show, man. I really appreciate you taking the time out.
Yeah, thank you. It's great to be here. Hi.
Great to have you here. Look, there's so much I want to touch base with you with regards, but I suppose we really want to discuss the new album, Sacrifice, which is being dropped on the 26th of January.
Yeah, right.
Can you give me some ideas on the background of the album, the concept behind it?
Sure, yeah. So, first of all, I would say that it's our biggest and like most elaborate record since Ladoga came out.
Mhm.
Um, and it tries to conceptually continue the like the themes and topics which we touched on Ladoga and also Reborn.
Yeah,
Uh, you will notice that since Ladoga had like these ambient interludes
hmm,
and short little tracks which were called Ageless River
that's
and
correct. Yeah.
numbered. Yeah, so this will be continued on this album.
Okay.
So it will be like Ageless River 6, 7, and so on.
Hmm, hmm.
Um, so yeah, I'd say this is quite a big milestone, I'd say, for us, just personally, in
Yeah.
terms of how much effort did it take to produce and to fine tune and to polish the sound. Mm, and speaking of like conceptual stuff,
Yeah.
um, yeah, it tries to elaborate on the same ideas we had in Reborn, but it takes it just a step further.
Okay.
And I mean, we'll have like the press release for uh, all the curious people.
Hmm.
Uh, but I mean, in general, we like to keep it a little bit ambiguous, to
Yeah.
leave the room for the listener to think and to,
Interpret themselves as well, I suppose, at the
yeah,
same time. Yeah. I
yeah,
mean,
right.
you do tend to base a lot of it of the albums that have gone before as well. Sort of, I won't say the fight between man and nature, but there seems to be this idea and this concept of the two overlapping, whether for good or for bad. You know, it's still rolling through Sacrifice. Am I right in saying that?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
sure. I mean, definitely sacrifice is more like uh, not self like the artist, but human-centered album,
Okay.
um, which I mean, it definitely reflects all the stuff that's been happening to us, like just the fact that we have to do this from our own homes, like in different countries, all
Yeah.
of a sudden, and uh, it's generally about like the transition from one state to another, like this point of no return,
Yeah.
and like being able to embrace the new things and being able to let hold of like things that keep you from uh,
Mm.
from getting somewhere to some new place.
Yeah. So the word sacrifice in itself, the title track or the title of the album, what specifically a word was that? What was that referring to? If you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. So sacrifice is, I mean, it's as big of a deal as you can get, and
Yes.
like, I mean, yeah, it's obviously it's not some like occult stuff. It's more of a philosophical reference
Okay.
to just transition from like your old self to your new self.
Okay. Very
Because
good.
in order to get, you know, to evolve,
Hmm.
you need to just sacrifice some things from your past.
Excellent. Now tell me the artwork as well, Tim, which depicts a tree that's
Mhm.
obviously exposing its roots. Its top has been chopped off. It's. Does that reflect the sound? And how did you go about deciding on the artwork? Because I mean, the artwork in Ladoga and Reborn, is it the same artist actually? By the way, is it the same artist
Yep.
doing it? Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Is the
Margot.
art even telling a story in itself? Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. So it's our good friend Margot from Belarus.
Okay.
She did, yeah, a lot of artworks for us, like for albums as well as merch and
Mm.
like all kinds of stuff. And we developed this, you know, really kind of close relationship as a musician and
Nice.
an artist can get.
Yeah.
Um, and she's probably like one of the few people who really um, understands what our music is about, and she, listens to it while she's drawing the artwork
Excellent.
for the album. Yeah, so I mean, it's really great to see her get like really involved in this art process.
Yeah, I mean,
Uh,
it really fits the music, Tim. Like, I mean, you got the right mix here. You got the right person doing the right work. You know, it definitely it tells the story, as I mentioned, like of the albums, like, and it just sets the scene. Just to look at an album cover, uh, it gives you a taste of what's within that music. You know, which is something special, I think.
Awesome.
Yeah, yeah.
Great. Yeah, great to hear it.
You know, it's nice to find an artist who can understand and tap into your psyche and know what you're trying to achieve. You know, it's not often that works, and it's great to see it work here.
Yeah, indeed. And that's why we gave like all the creative freedom to her.
Yeah.
So like we can generally explore of what we would probably like to see on the cover, but if she wants to do something different or like shed a different light on the
Mhm.
subject, it's perfectly fine with us.
It actually brings me to one thing. It just hit me as we were talking. Frozen Bloom. Then, Tim, the
Yeah.
artwork on that is very different.
Yeah, it is.
And be honest, this album, like the Queen of Fields, is one of your greatest tracks ever, as far as I'm concerned. But where does that fit in? Fit in then with the concepts of what you've had rolling between Adoga Reborn and Sacrifice.
Yeah, it is a little bit of a detour from
Yeah.
yeah, from our usual stuff. Um, well, so the process behind it was we wanted to release the album like as fast as we can
Okay.
because
Okay.
sometimes it just hits you like, yeah, we've got like this material, we've got it recorded and like sort of mixed.
Uh-huh.
We just need to finish it right now and release it as soon as possible.
Okay.
Which makes some people from our label not too happy, but yeah, it's all right. So yeah, we just stumbled upon this cool photographer on Instagram. Uh, I mean, I believe he was subscribed to our page before,
Okay.
and we were subscribed to him as well. And this specific set of photographs really stood out to both me and Andrei,
Mhm.
because, you know, um, a big inspiration for us both visually and like aesthetically
Yeah.
is films by Andrei Tarkovsky.
Okay.
Um, and we felt some sort of resemblance, like watery themes and
Mhm.
misty backgrounds
Yeah.
and it's just nature in its purest.
Yeah.
Um,
Like
yeah, it's just
nature seems to play a big part in everything you do, doesn't it? Tin, through OLHAVA.
Yeah, sure, it is. It
Yeah,
is like the key part in uh, OLHAVA as well as Trna, I would say.
yeah, yeah. How again? Oh, I'm probably going a small bit off topic here, but how do you sort of separate the two, OLHAVA and Trna? Because as you said, musically they're similar in with regards their atmospheric post black metal.
Hmm.
They follow the same, as you said, nature themes. And how do you decide? Right, this is a creation for OLHAVA, and this is for Trna. Is that possible to do?
Yeah, sure. Um, I mean, we're now doing new stuff both for both OLHAVA and Trna,
Right.
and it becomes clearer and clearer, like as far as you go, that musically, actually, they are quite different. And I say musically, not like sound-wise,
Mm-hmm.
because yeah, obviously sound has a lot of resemblance. But so the main difference is Trna is a live band.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, don't want to say used to be. I hope.
I hope
Uh,
not either. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So and there are some restrictions that some things you can play live, some things you can't. We don't want to go the route of um, like pre-recorded guitars,
Yeah.
just
Yeah. I
played
get
at the
you.
same. Yeah, but and at the same time, like Trna needs to be. And by the way, Trna is three people, and
Yeah.
it has always been that all the three people need to find some sort of consensus and
Mm-hmm.
compromise. Uh, and Anton, our bass player, he likes more like black metal and more, aggressive music.
Okay.
Uh, so it's got like its influence there.
Exactly. Yeah.
Um, but OLHAVA at the other hand is a purely studio project.
Mm-hmm.
And so there are no restrictions on the number of guitar tracks you can record, on like
Okay.
the effects and like all that stuff. And that brings the difference in the sound and in the music.
Yeah. Would you say so, Tim, that OLHAVA will never become a live project at any stage? Is this something you'd ever consider?
Well, I mean, we consider it from time to time.
Mm.
I mean, yeah, before the 2022. Because a lot of people ask us frequently about like what would it take to make
To
or
get
have a live band? Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
And I mean, in theory, it's possible, but it would take a lot.
Okay.
Uh, because like the main thing I think about when someone mentions or have a life
Yeah.
is that I just don't want it to be like you're another beginner black metal band playing
Yeah.
in a venue. I just want OLHAVA Live to be something very, very special with
You
like,
wanted to be an experience for people, so yeah.
yeah,
Something that
yeah,
they'll remember forever.
yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah,
No,
like,
no pressure, Tim. Like no pressure whatsoever there.
no, I mean, I genuinely want it,
Yeah.
and it should be like pretty spectacular experience. Yeah.
Yeah. I again I spent the week listening to all the albums again in sort of preparation for having a chat with you. And you get lost in this music, and I would think that in a live environment, it would be something
Hmm.
special. Like I think it would be a moment to remember, and I'd love to see it happen. Look, maybe sometime down the line. And on top of that, I can't wait to see Trna at some stage as well.
Sure.
That's another bucket list for me. But as I'm talking about the two, and even Somn as well, like this
Hmm.
whole scene, as we sort of seem to be calling it at the moment, the St. Petersburg sound that yourselves know, and even Show Me a Dinosaur would be the same.
Yeah.
It took off within the last 5 and 6 years. It really became something special, and that's obviously down to quality, like it's quality within the song production, the actual musicianship. Uh, did you did you feel and see that happening? You know, when people were talking about it, are we blind to all that?
You mean to the attention of people from abroad?
Exactly. Finding, as I said, calling it sort of
Hmm.
St. Petersburg sound. You seem to have a sound within your cells, like you know, there's it's atmospheric, like, and there's these dense walls of sound and that washy vocal that comes over it.
Hmm.
Like atmospheric metal is there, but this was something a little different.
Yeah, sure. Some people also name the band Blankenberge. Uh,
Yes,
yeah, it's a shoegaze band
that's right.
which we used to share a label with. Uh, yeah, and there are some more. Yeah. Uh, so I mean, we could record like a whole separate podcast about like what were the reasons and
Mm,
why it just came to be, and at the moment it came to be.
yeah,
Uh, but yeah, you could definitely say like the band is probably like from St. Petersburg. Not
mhm,
that, there are a lot of post-black-ish, uh, like black gaze-ish bands from Russia at all, but
yeah,
there are some, yeah, and there are some from Siberia, I believe, and they sound different.
okay,
You could say that, yeah. Mm, and yeah, it's quite curious that there are some things that the stars must have aligned this way.
yeah.
Uh,
That's what I'm probably trying to get at. You know, I mean, with
mhm,
all the music that's out there from every country in the world, for a time, everybody zoned in on this
mhm.
sound, on your sound, on the bands I've mentioned. Um, and it's just sort of created its own entity almost within this niche underground scene of ours, like, you know. And
Hmm.
and my point was, I suppose, really, do you see that yourselves when you're sitting inside us? You know, do you see people, you know, following your sound so much?
Well, yeah, there is definitely some what is called now organic growth.
Mhm.
Uh, but at the same time, I feel like we had to do a lot of work to promote the records and our
Okay.
bands, especially Show Me Dinosaur. And I speak with Artem, their guitarist and
Yeah.
vocalist, really often, and so I believe he did most of the promo by himself for the latest record for Plant Gazer.
Okay.
So it wasn't like a PR company or a label or something.
Yeah.
So he just had to put in a lot of time and effort to promote this thing.
So like to be fair, what you have achieved, all of you, is down to hard graft. It's not, as you said, some promoter doing all the work for you. This is you guys working
Yeah, pretty much.
right, doing everything basically.
I mean, it wouldn't probably be fair to say that like all the bands did everything themselves
Uh-huh.
because Trna is signed to sorry, I forgot the label's name. Candlelight Records. Yeah,
Yes.
here it is.
Okay.
Um, and it's quite a big label, I believe, more in UK and
Yeah,
USA than
it is a big
probably
label.
Europe.
Hmm.
Yeah, and they did a lot of incredible stuff in terms of promotion for Istok, the latest album,
Yeah.
like seeing it being played on BBC One and stuff is just
It's mad,
incredible.
isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
It's
I would
fantastic.
never, yeah, guess that this music, this stuff would
Would
be
reach an
played.
audience like that. I know it's incredible.
Yeah,
I suppose
yeah.
people are opening up musically. I think the you know the times of pigeonholing music, I think, is gone. You know, if it's something sounds right, sounds good, then it is. Um,
Yeah, I believe the thing is, the all the bands are um they have something in common.
uh-huh.
It's kind of hard to pinpoint, but I believe this music is personal. Uh, you can probably feel that it is honest,
Yeah,
that it's not
absolutely.
like, a producer like industry plans something.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah,
Uh,
I think people are finally appreciating that the work and effort that goes into
yeah,
creating music,
finally.
real music, you know. And going back to the album again, Sacrifice, Tim, if you don't mind there,
Hmm.
because I know I went off track. Um,
Sure, sure.
did you know what you wanted to create going into the studio, or was it a case of when you get together, if you got together even? That's another point, actually. Did you
Hmm.
have a concept already in mind for this album before you started?
Well, actually, uh, I believe the only time we ever got together,
Mm,
uh, like I mean, we got together on Trna rehearsals, but specifically for OLHAVA, we only did like sort of studio sessions when our sound guy Misha was mixing it and
okay.
like putting final touches. Uh, but yeah, I mean, it happened just all of a sudden. I believe Andrei was sitting at home, kind of nervous because at the same time I was recording drums for Ladoga.
Okay.
Uh, yeah, I believe it was Ladoga. So yeah, he had nothing to do and he started like just writing new tracks.
Right.
And he's just sending me, one 1 hour demo after another. And I'm like, yo,
Keeping you busy.
yeah, yeah, and yeah, he's really creative person.
Yeah.
He just like if you try to count the amount of music he produces
Uh,
in all of the projects, uh, I don't know, it it can easily be like more than five or I don't know, maybe 10 albums a year.
wow.
Uh,
That's a lot.
yeah, and like he's doing a lot of stuff, and so yeah, he just recorded basically just guitar demos of the tracks, sent them over, and like when it finally came to when the time came to
Mhm.
record the drums and start producing, because the demos can lie on our tables for years basically.
Yeah, yeah. And
Because
you're not afraid to share that stuff. Am I right in saying that? You've put a lot of stuff up on websites and stuff that would be demo. Am I right in
yeah,
saying that?
yeah, he's got a Boosie. It's like a Russian Patreon, I
Hmm.
believe.
Hmm.
Uh, he's about to finally create his Patreon page.
Okay.
Because Andrei, like the only thing he does is music.
Yeah.
Uh, so yeah, uh, yeah, I just lost track a little bit of
No,
of
I
the
like I can
conversation.
understand Andre's involvement like is huge, like and
Yeah,
what he does as not even just as I'll have it like, but I mean, as you said, he's how many projects going at a time?
yeah,
It's
but
unbelievable, like
yeah, to answer your question about like the process of how the album came together,
yeah.
yeah, it was really quick in terms of like building the tracks, but
Hmm.
then we spend quite a lot of time on uh, like getting the transitions just right,
Okay.
getting the ambient tracks, and we have well all the creative freedom, and he also encourages me to play not only drums but to just elaborate in any way I can, and
Have you played
this is
guitar
great.
as well, Tim?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
Well, I wouldn't say like I'm an expert, but I mostly do like this ambient stuff,
Yeah.
like lo-fi things,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
also for the sacrifice, I did. Uh, well, I placed some samples basically on the very last track. did some sound design, these little things here and there. So
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Um, the recording, going back to recording this again, I mean, it can't have been easy to record us because obviously the last few years you've had to move home, you are where you are now. Is Andre nearby? Is he in close proximity to you, or do you have to make plans to get together?
Yeah, unfortunately,
See, countries apart.
yeah, I can't even make plans to see each other because he's back in St. Petersburg and I'm in Turkey right now.
Okay, all right.
Um, so yeah, we have to do everything like separately.
Uh-huh.
Well, not separately. We communicate very often, and well, I believe it's as good of a uh, distant production pipeline as you can get
Yeah.
with a studio project, because he's got all the means to record at home.
Okay.
And well, to be completely fair, the drums for The Sacrifice were recorded uh, back in 2021, I guess. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
So, but still, yeah, I've got the means to record here. So we just have to work like this for now.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to ask you because as I said, you had to get out and you had to get to Istanbul, right? Did you
Hmm.
bring all your gear, drums, equipment? Did everything move with you?
No, unfortunately not. Uh, well, the thing is, when I left Russia,
Yeah.
I only had like my tourist suitcase with me
Right.
and a backpack. Yeah. So all I could grab is like a couple of pedals. I also got my guitar disassembled and just stuck into the suitcase. But
Yeah.
yeah, drums are not a thing you can.
Not that easy,
It's
no.
not, yeah, not travel
No.
friendly.
No, not the easiest musician's equipment to transport from anywhere, not to mind from a backpack and a suitcase, man. But
Yeah.
do you know, you mentioned earlier there, Ageless River, this track that flows from Ladoga right through Sacrifice, that ambient,
Hmm.
these ambient passages. It's a very OLHAVA thing to do. Not many
Yeah.
bands would do this.
Hmm.
Uh, Again, going back to the same question, was it a conscious decision to keep that rolling? Do you like to break up the music with these ambient soundscapes?
Yeah, it was definitely a conscious decision because, well, we like just to add a lot of ambience and droning sounds which stretch out uh, quite a lot. You can say by our previous albums, we had like a whole ambient album which is
Mm-hmm.
called Never Leave Me Alone.
Yeah.
Is also on vinyl, which is surprising for us. Uh, but yeah, I mean, well, we personally like to listen to this sort of music a lot,
Okay.
and it is no problem for us to like get through a 30-minute track of just ambient sounds.
Yeah.
Uh, and we did this thing on Reborn, I guess, as
Uh-huh.
well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
was
like,
it? Yeah, mirror
like
reflection. Yeah,
a lot of bands, Tim, would be afraid to do that, afraid to do what you're
yeah,
doing, you know?
but yeah, on Ladaga and on Sacrifice though, we decided to take a little bit different road, and we just cut out like the ambient parts.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, if we didn't consciously do it, it would be just cut somewhere in the middle, and there would be long intros to the tracks and long
Yeah.
outros. Yeah, but we decided, a lot of people are, they are just skipping ambient tracks.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So we decided to give them this possibility,
I think it's a great
uh,
idea. I think it's a great
yeah.
concept, Actually, just as we talked about, I was listening to Reborn, the album last
Hmm.
night, and I think the intro is pretty ambient in that one. And I started to doze off, and then the blast beats come from fucking nowhere, and literally shook the shit out of me. It was fantastic to hear. But look, I'm going to give people a listen to some music here from Sacrifice, the album. And it was the first track you released, Eternal Fire. Amazing piece of music. I'm assuming most people have
Thank
heard this
you.
already. Let's have a listen. Right, so guys, there you have it. What a sound! It's just mesmerizing, as it's transient. It's just something incredible. That was Eternal Fire from the album Sacrifice, as I said, which is coming out very, very soon. Um, Tim, can I ask you a question? Right,
Hmm.
um, hypothetical, of course. Like, but I just be curious. Like, do you think OLHAVA as a band would be in a very different place now in 2024 if there was no war in Ukraine? Do you mind me asking that question?
Yeah, I mean, for sure it would. Um, I mean, the war has impacted all of our lives severely.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and like just the fact that, well, I don't want to sound like it's the biggest problem, but if we are talking specifically about OLHAVA,
Yeah.
um, well, just the fact that we don't have I don't have the access to our studio to go to be creative with drums at any time.
Yeah.
Uh, it's a big downside, and also we're just happy that we managed to record drums for the album before I had to
There you
leave
go. Yeah.
Russia.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because yeah, right now there wouldn't be any chance to do this here in Istanbul, uh, and also it is a big. I mean, it's a big thing that affects your like mental health as well, uh, because it's hard to describe the atmosphere of like depressed,
Yeah.
just ambience, you know,
Mm.
floating in the air in Russia right now.
Yeah.
Uh, And yeah, it's a huge thing that I believe if not in 2024, it will definitely affect these like OLHAVA sound down the way for
Yeah,
sure. Um,
yeah.
yeah,
I,
it. Yeah, go on.
yeah, I mean, it has like, if we look at the bigger picture, it's chaos. Like it's horrible to see what's going on. Like, and I mean, it affects everybody, everybody's life. You know what I mean? You decided to move, right? And you've Andre, who's still in St. Petersburg. Like, I mean, it's such a big fucking decision to make. Do you get up and get out? You know, do you stay? Do you, you
Yeah.
know, how did you even come up? How do you make that decision?
Well, in my case, there are a
Yeah,
lot of people leaving just purely due to just not to be a part of it,
yeah.
just purely politically
Hmm.
motivated.
Hmm.
Uh, in my case, there was that, but also, uh, well, there was a draft
Yeah.
in like a bit more than a year ago,
Okay.
uh, and I was supposed to be drafted. Like if
Okay.
we speak purely, in terms of law and
Yeah.
uh, not that, people came to my home and dragged me to,
I know.
but the danger was there, and you know,
It's expected of you,
speak,
like, wasn't it? If you were to stay.
uh, yeah, it not only expected, but well, basically, I received a letter,
Okay.
uh, and again, strictly speaking, it's not like how it is in practice, obviously, but you never know,
Yeah.
if they will decide to go after you,
Yeah.
or because uh, like legally they have all the rights, and you can face real prison time if
Yeah.
you
If
just
you,
decide, yeah, not to show up.
okay.
Uh,
I mean, and
so yes,
because of that, Tim, like, you can't just go home and pick
yeah,
something up and get out again. Like, I mean, you
yeah,
know,
exactly. I would really love to, but yeah, it's a really tough decision, and I had to do it like I had to leave within 4 or 3 days,
man,
basically. Yeah, it was really, really stressful, but still there are a lot of people who do not have the opportunity or like the finances to just to get up and leave to another country.
and
Uh,
thankfully you've managed to find work, and you're working and you're actively earning your way through life. Like, I mean,
yeah, I mean, I'm lucky in this regard.
mm,
Uh, so
yeah,
uh, yeah, no questions here. But yeah, in terms of music and how it affects, well, I mean, a lot of people from the St. Petersburg scene are
yeah,
now away from Russia, and God knows when they are coming back.
yeah,
Uh, so basically, the scene is, I'm afraid to say, but it's probably gone.
yeah.
Uh, no one knows if it's ever gonna be back.
It's just the
But
sheer
yeah,
uncertainty of it all. Like, no, nobody knows. Nobody knows.
sure.
Yeah, I appreciate you answering that, Tim. I really do. I don't want to make this political really, because this is all about music and we're talking about music, but
Yeah,
I
thank
just
you.
wanted to get some kind of an insight.
Hmm.
Um, Tim, can we talk about again? It's probably actually overlapping again, because Trna, the band whom I absolutely adore, it was my first sort of, we'd call it St. Petersburg taster, and from then the whole thing just grew. Like, but and you mentioned it being a live band, but
Hmm.
circumstances that you have found yourselves in, no, that's not the case. But is there a chance again? Who knows what's down the road, but Tirna is not dead in the water, so to speak. There is hope that it will come back as a live act. and be seen again?
Yeah, for sure. Like the hope is there.
Mm.
We constantly communicate. We are working on like new material. It's basically the only thing we can do now.
Okay.
But we really hope that we'll be able to play live again.
Yeah.
Uh, and yeah.
And before everything happened, was there big plans for Tirna at the time? Had you ideas of, traveling as a band, seeing countries?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, there
yeah.
were a lot of plans. I mean, in 2019, we had a big European tour.
Mm.
We came, yeah, all the way to Paris and back.
Wow.
Yeah, it was, yeah, 21 city, I believe. About a month of touring. One of the greatest experience of my life.
I was just about to ask, how do you look
Yeah,
back and reflect on that? Amazing.
yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
absolutely.
Um, Yeah, and I was planning, so yeah, I was organizing most of this,
Hmm.
and I was planning to do the same well, yeah, in late, yeah, in 2020,
Okay.
just just before the COVID hit.
Uh-huh.
So this made the plans go off.
One thing after another, Tim. Yeah, it just wasn't on your
Yeah,
side. It wasn't to happen.
yeah, and even if like as bad as the pandemic was.
Mm.
We definitely did not expect it would get even worse.
No.
And at least the pandemic, it was, well, we were sure it was gonna be over at some point,
Yeah.
and we'll be just back to normal. But yeah, unfortunately, right now, I don't know if there will ever be like, the same. Well, I mean, I had a lot of Trna and OLHAVA fans message me and say like, mm, guys, we know it's not you, it's like
Yeah.
your government and stuff. And I really, really appreciate it that mostly people can differentiate and understand the context. Uh,
Exactly. Exactly.
yeah, but for some reason, for like big politics, and if we are speaking of Russians in general, it became much, much harder to uh, basically to tour Europe to get anywhere
I,
abroad. I mean, yeah, you can get to, Serbia, Turkey,
yeah.
Thailand probably, but in the musical touring band context, yeah, I don't know. I really hope it will get better at some point,
Yeah.
but we just have to wait.
We just have to wait this out. Yeah, it's unfortunate. Yeah, it's an awful position to be in. It, the whole thing. It's a sad state of affairs. Look, but
Yeah.
getting back to your music, Tim. I
Hmm.
want to talk about reverb on repeat as well. I mean, not that you've enough going on already. You decide to sort of grow this as well because it was a small
Yeah.
project, but it seems to have grown and gathered a bit of pace, has it?
Yeah, it is. I mean, there is, there might be sort of a branding confusion because initially Andrei decided to name his like solo project channel place where he just uploads his demos,
Yeah,
reverb and repeat. But then
that's right.
um, some of these demos, we just decided to make proper tracks out of them, and we were looking for a vocalist for some time. And it's really hard when you've got the music on your hands,
Mm.
and you don't have a person to write lyrics and to sing the
Yeah,
actual
yeah.
uh, songs. So yeah, it took some time,
Hmm.
but finally it's been all done and mixed and mastered by the
Brilliant.
same Mikhail Kurushkin. We've got on OLHAVA and Trna. And yeah, we consciously decided to not make a metal record out of it
Yeah. It's
and
very different.
to,
Like, yeah.
yeah, it is. And to make like a purely shoegaze, well, not an album, I believe it's two EPs planned to release this year. Uh, yeah, and we finally found the vocalist. It's Vladimir from Rai.
Right. Yeah. Well,
Uh,
I know his right. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, and Misha Kurushkin himself decided to play bass on the
Okay.
record. So yeah, it all came together quite nice. Looking forward
You
to the
mentioned
release. Yeah.
shoegaze, Tim, as a an idea of what this sounds like, and you're right, like it is shoegaze. The vocal is a bit different from what you would normally hear within the shoegaze genre. You know, it's a bit deeper.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
which
it
is
is.
nice. It's nice to hear something different like that.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah, interesting.
Yeah, I guess you could call it some sort of a post-punk new wave
Yeah,
influence,
yeah,
I guess. Yeah.
interesting. Yeah,
But I think it's cool. Yeah, it's different.
it is different, and I'm looking forward to hearing more from Reverb on repeat. Just talk. It's we mentioned shoegaze and stuff there. I mean, musically, where are you at? What do you listen to? Like, I mean, what do you chill out to? You know, music. I mean, it's not all your own.
Hmm.
Obviously, you must branch out with other sounds. And where's your head at musically?
Uh, sure, yeah. We were just speaking about
Where
it
do you
with
start?
yeah. Well, I mean, we're at a weird point right now. Well, yeah, me personally for sure, because uh, I got sent so many demos nowadays
Yeah,
from
yeah.
Andre, and there is just, this stacked order that I have to go through first. That is, you have to listen to this and to this and to this, uh, and possibly imagine some drums for these
so,
tracks.
so Andre is dictating your musical journey at the moment.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. But yeah, at the same time, we're listening to, I mean, Andres just said recently he's listening to mostly shoegaze and
Mm.
like 90s shoegaze.
Okay.
Uh, yeah. Uh, as for me, I, I'm looking for the more underground and contemporary shoegaze artists.
Mhm.
There is, this 18-year-old guy, I believe, who blew up on TikTok.
Okay.
Uh, his name is Kwolnik.
Okay.
Yeah, I believe. Uh, just it's just it's so cool to me that like young people get into this music
Uh-huh.
like now, and that this music is becoming popular
Yeah.
after I've listened to it for so many years, and it was it's always been like this underground niche thing,
You stuck in there,
and
Tim. You stuck in there till it came popular again. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And it's really curious how some like newer kids just don't give uh, try not to swear.
You can swear. You can swear all you want here.
Yeah, they don't give two shits about production. They
Yeah.
just put things together in Ableton and do like VST everything. And it still sounds great, and the tracks are great because I believe the music, the the arrangement is first and the sound is second.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
and yeah, it's really cool.
You see,
Also, I've been yeah.
no, sorry, go ahead. Go ahead, Tim.
Well, also apart from this, I've listened to a bit of screamo, like 90s screamo
Mhm.
stuff. Mm, yeah, like mm, Bo Navire,
Oh yeah.
Bo
Yeah.
Navir, I
Yeah.
believe is the band's name. Yeah, I
Nice.
just stumbled upon their album and it's literally a discovery for me. It
Yeah.
just stuck on repeat ever since.
There's just so much out there though, Tim, isn't there, to find? And you mentioned the
Yeah.
platforms there like TikTok and stuff like this. I mean,
Hmm.
it's never been so easy to get access and even to create music. I mean, it's the world is just changing so fast from a musical
Hmm.
perspective, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Creativity wise, yeah, it's
Sure.
mad. It's mad. Tim, before I leave you go, I have three questions I want to put to you just for a bit of fun and before we wrap up. Um, I'm going to throw the first one at you here. What track would you like to see OLHAVA at some stage, or if ever, do a cover version of?
Well,
Have you ever thought about it or talked about it as a band, as a group?
uh, yeah, I mean, not specifically as OLHAVA, but
Uh-huh.
as Trna, and as like, just us thinking about things we could cover,
Yeah.
and like just recollecting good cover tracks. Uh, I believe mine and Andre's is would probably be like, mm, the band's called Year of No Light, and
Brilliant.
at
Yeah.
some point they covered Disorder by Joy Division.
Yes.
Just so transformative. It's
Uh-huh.
it's so great. So yeah, I believe we could. Mm,
I just
yeah,
think, yeah,
we could do Slow Dive for
nice.
sure,
Nice.
easily.
Yeah.
Like some, they had their first EP, uh, something Breeze, Catch the Breeze. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
There are so many good tracks on this, and there is also the unreleased I Saw the Sun record.
Okay.
Yeah, any track from there. Uh, Spanish Air. Yeah, it's a
Okay.
good one.
Joe, I was in the car this afternoon and a track came on. It was Ultravox's Vienna, right?
Hmm.
And in preparation for this, I had this show on my mind. I was saying, fuck it. I would love to hear something like that with, and I'll have a approach on it,
Hmm.
that dreamy, fuzzy guitar sound over that melody, I'd say would be fantastic. Just one of those crazy thoughts that came to my head. Second question, Tim.
Hmm.
If you could bring back a band from the past to see them play live, who would come to mind?
Hmm.
Is there anyone that you've not seen live that you wish you would have had?
Well, first one that comes to mind is probably Title Fight.
Okay.
Uh, just because of, it's been kind of a common theme around the internet, like bring back Title Fight.
Very good.
Mm,
That'll do. That answer will go. That'll do us fine. The third question, so on the final question before I let you go. If you could go
mhm.
into the studio, Tim, with any band and do a collaboration with, who would you like to have with you creating something new?
Hmm. That's a tough question, because from personal experience,
It doesn't work.
it's yeah, I mean, it's two completely different things when you listen to a band and when you encounter them as human beings
Yes.
live, not on
Yes.
stage, but in
Yeah.
trying to do something.
As personalities, yeah,
Yeah, it can be quite disorienting, I believe.
they can clash.
Uh, but I don't know. Yeah, it's tough.
It's a tough question. Yeah, it's a tough question. Well, look, we'll skip that question. Just give me an album or a band to look out for in 2024. What do you think is something worth checking out that you've heard or that you know is on the way? Have you an album you're looking forward to hearing from anyone?
Hmm. Yeah, that's hard as well because
Because there's so much out there.
yeah, first of all, there are so much, and secondly, I barely managed to release like all of our albums,
Yeah,
and to look ahead, and I
fair.
don't even know, like, Are Death Heaven releasing something this year? Probably not.
Maybe, but you're looking forward to hearing something again from Death Heaven, surely something new.
Yeah, I don't know. It's
Yeah.
at the same time, I kind of I'm afraid to get disappointed, after
I
the new record.
I know that feeling. I know that feeling. Right, Tim. That's all my questions, man. That's everything. And I suppose just personally, from my own personal point of view, musically, lads, I've said this about 100 times, and people are probably sick of me saying it, but there's two big musical moments in the last 20 years for me, and one would be way back when I used to listen to all the doom metal and the British doom bands like My Dying Bride and Anathema and Paradise Lost, and
Mhm.
they just blew my mind, absolutely blew my mind. And I carried that music for maybe 15 years, and then I stumbled upon the likes, as I mentioned, this St. Petersburg scene with yourselves and Trna Somn, and it just reinvented music for me. It was just another explosion of sound, and ever since I've just been loving everything you've released from all your projects, and I just want to say a huge thanks for that, man. Absolute thank you.
Oh, thank you so much. Thanks.
And
It's
thanks
so
for
nice to
coming on
hear.
the show. Yeah, look, I suppose I'm not the only person who thinks that, Tim. We
Thank you.
hope Sacrifice, which has been released on the 26th, gets all the credit and all the heads turning, because I'm sure it will. Tim, thanks for coming on the show, and I wish you all the best in the
Thanks.
future.
It was really great to be here. Thank you.
Great, thanks, Tim. There you go, guys. That is Tim Yusupov from OLHAVA, Trna Somn, Reverb on repeat. You name it. This guy has, I don't know, he's involved in everything. Go check out their stuff. Thanks to Richie from the Metal Cell podcast, who edits and produces the show. And lads, see you soon. Take care.